Okay. Okay. Well, hey, everybody. How was your week? Tell me how your week was. Anybody? Everybody? Everybody's so quiet. You can unmute, raise your hand, whatever you feel like.
I'm just coming back from California. We're in the camper last night on the road, so home to Houston tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, you guys got caught in that snowstorm and the
Oh,
rain and all
Deb,
that
it was
stuff.
crazy. But I so wish we could have seen all the beautiful snow in Yosemite. We missed it. We had to escape
Uh,
with the camper before it got too cold.
I agree. Or you got snowed in and you couldn't move. Anybody else? How was your training week, everybody? Anybody want to talk about their training week? Hands? Anything? Nothing? Everybody's kind of quiet today. You can unmute. Um,
Life is lovely, Deb.
what? Thank you, Mike.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you, but I can't see you behind those special Rudy Project glasses.
Of course, he has his glasses.
Of course he does. That's what he's known for, putting the baby. Okay, Melissa, we'll hang out. We'll hang out. Okay, well, I'm going to get started. So, for those that are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is our third week, and this group is a combination of never evers to wildflower and never evers to triathlon, and some people who have maybe done one or two triathlons, but would still like to get some help. And so every week, we are going to have some amazing guests. And tonight we are talking about gear because for some of you new peeps, it's like, oh my gosh, what bike, what shoes, what glasses, what helmet, what wetsuit, all these fun things. So our guests tonight are John Harakuni of Home Bike Shop, who is both a mechanic, a bike fitter. He helps people get bikes when they're looking for bikes. He's got really good advice, and he has been part of the LA Tri Club for years and years and years. He started with just a mobile sprinter van, and now he actually has a location as well, but in an industrial area. But he will be there for those in LA this summer. He is out there every Friday morning from 6:30 to 7:30. So if you have any last minute stuff while you're swimming in the ocean, he's there. And then Mike Buenting from Rudy Project, who is also Mr. like, where in the US is Mike? Is he running? Is he triathloning? He's got his daughter, who it's so cool because they've got a lot of fun father-daughter stuff going on. She just graduated college. She was on the triathlon team at her college, did very well. And so Mike is the ask a question about a helmet, ask a question about glasses, whether they're sunglasses, they're Rudy Project are not just for your bike. I mean, I love my Rudy Project glasses. I wear them skiing, and my helmet. And he'll talk all about how do you buy a new helmet? When do you know it's time to get a new one? Or if you should, have a bike accident, what do you do? How do you clip it? How do you keep it, you know, um, from falling apart or all that kind of stuff? And same with glasses. How do you pick out different glasses? Because there are so many choices. So they will be our guests. But before we do that, I would like to introduce Vanessa. Sorry, I'm thinking of her last name at the same time. Vanessa is from TriDot. And she's going to answer anybody who is on the TriDot platform because I know, especially some of you new people, you may have a few questions. So she will answer a couple questions, and then for the next 10 minutes, both Vanessa and I will answer any questions you guys have from last week. So take it away, Vanessa.
Okay, awesome. I am so excited for all of you. I feel like this is very serendipitous. As you may see, I am in my vehicle. I am on my way to coaching a beginner triathlon class, and this club that I'm coaching with is where I did my first race. with their facility. And so I was just trying to think back of what it was like to be registered for a race, and it was the first time. And I just want to let you know that I think that you are extremely courageous. I'm very proud of you for stepping outside of your comfort zone and for registering for something that is totally crazy. And so welcome to the club of being crazy, which is something that I hold very near and dear to my heart. So I just wanted to start off by saying I'm really proud of you for showing up. I'm really proud of you for being courageous. And I'm just here very quickly to talk a little bit about the TriDot platform. So I think we have a little bit of a slideshow.
Yes,
Um,
I am trying to pull that up. Hang on, because I have two things. This is not what we're pulling up. Um, Hang on a second. Can everybody still hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay, hang on one second. Let me get rid of this for one moment because I need to get into the email just because. There we go. Here you go. And let me put it on
Perfect.
presenter. Hang on here. We will present, and there you go. It's all yours.
Awesome.
Well,
So here we are. I think that you've seen these slides before. These were given out in an earlier communication, so I won't spend too much time on this one in particular because it's all there. Everything you need to know is there, and I'm guessing that there will be time for you to have this presentation sent out. And so you can just pause the presentation and have a read of these things. These are very common questions that we see with regards to triathlon in general. How do I know if I'm fit enough? I don't want to get injured before I make it to the start line. I don't know if I'm training too hard or not enough. And most of the time, just so you all know, I'm sure you've heard this from Deb because she's fabulous. You're probably training too much as a first time triathlete. And the other thing that's really something that we hear from a lot of triathletes is I just don't have that much time to train. So being with TriDot, I can assure you that this is something that we hold very near and dear to our hearts, is that you have the ability to train less because the program is so fine-tuned to you, and nobody else has the same training program that you do, because nobody's the same as you. So your training is specific to you, where you live, the conditions under which you live, in terms of the environment and the temperature and the humidity and elevation and all of those things. So your training program is going to reflect all of those things, allowing you to spend less time training and more time doing the things that you love to do. And that might be, I don't know what it is for you, working or family or whatever. But that's where we're at with the time. So hopefully you've already seen this QR code. If you scan this code for either TriDot or RunDot, you will be taken to an onboarding page where you can fill in your information, and then you will have an opportunity to go further into the app and place a RunDot or a TriDot promo code. I believe that I'm going to create a little video for you on how to find where to put that promo code, just so that it's a little bit easier for you to navigate, if you haven't already found it. And I did put together a video for you on how to add a race into your platform. So hopefully that will get circulated to you as well. But essentially what this is something. TriDot is amazing for first timers. We've all been first timers. And basically, what you do is you put in the information about you, and you share your current fitness. It's going to build your swim, your bike, your run workouts all around who you are today. So it's really important that the information that you put in is accurate. You don't want to say that you're, slower than you are, and you don't want to say that you're faster than you are, because then your training zones will be generated and they won't suit you. So you might find that your training is too hard or too easy. What you need to do in that instance is we just need to do an assessment to make sure that it is to do the assessment to make sure that your training zones are appropriate, both for heart rate and for pacing, power, that kind of thing. So if you have to do that, that's perfectly fine. Now, if you miss a session for a reason, which happens because we all live our lives and we have, lots of things going on, if you miss a session, don't worry about it. Your training gets recalculated. And so it's going to allow you to still get the maximum benefit that you require by leaving that session completely blank. So it's okay. I missed a session today. Don't tell anyone. I missed a session. That's okay. I'm going to leave it blank, and my load will be adjusted in the future to reflect that I missed that. So that's really important to think that you don't have to start over. You don't have to squeeze it in somewhere else because you missed it. The other thing that is really, really important about triathlon in general, which I'm sure anyone on this call who's experienced triathlon will agree with me, is that when you have an easy session, so in TriDot, you will have sessions that are pace or power moderated, and you will have sessions that are heart rate moderated. So the ones that are heart rate moderated are the easy sessions. And we want you to go easy on those days. Those are there for recovery purposes. They're not there for you to be at the top of your zone 2 in your heart rate. They're there for you to just recover and take it really easy. So I think Christy Wellington was the first person to ever say this. She's a wonderful, amazing human being, a triathlete. And she said that a lot of triathletes go too hard on the easy days and they go too easy on the hard days. So with TriDot, you know which are the hard days, and you're given the exact targets that you need to hit in order to keep progressing. But that being said, you also have to have as much discipline to go easy on the easy days. So the whole point of this is so that you arrive at Wildflower at that start line feeling excited, and you're hoping that that you're ready to go. And I can assure you that if you just need to trust your training with TriDot. And we are here to help you throughout the entire process. If you have questions and concerns, Barb is here answering your questions. I can see the chat popping up here. So you just need to make sure that you put in the correct information. You put in the race that you're going to be racing at Wildflower, and then you will be, I'll make a video on how to enter that promo code if anyone's struggling with that. So there is an orientation recording that Wildflower sent out at the end of last week. And that is a great companion to this in terms of how to set up your training and how to navigate through the platform in itself. And so just please have a look at that orientation. And if you have any questions, all you need to do is reach out to the support that we have within the app. You will be connected with a real life human, and we will be honored to help you get started with your journey and to love our training as much as we do. So I'm very excited to be sharing this with you, and I'm very excited for you to have a race coming up on your calendar. And I can assure you that the team at Wildflower is absolutely outstanding, and you are in for a serious treat when you go to that event in a couple of months, because it is amazing. It's a truly an experience, and I hope that it's one of the greatest memories that you will have in your triathlon life.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions? Anybody? Nobody? Okay. Well, since you are all excited about our presenters today, I would like to start with John Harakuni. And John will talk about everything bike and what you need for your bike and what you don't need. For those that are relatively new, do not panic. You do not have to have a tri bike right away. And even for this course, you don't have to have one, but it's nice to have one. I mean, I did not get my first tri bike until I was 5 years into the sport, and I had decided that I was going to nationals with the goal of going to worlds. But the rest of the time I had a road bike, and we put clip-on aero bars. And I did my first half Ironman with aero bars on my road bike. And I was fine. But once I knew that I had a certain goal, Then I got my tri bike. Now I have four bikes, but you don't have to go that far. It's kind of like shoes. You can never have enough. So, John, take it away.
Okay. Well, my name is John, and I own a company called Home Bike Shop. I do mobile bike service in Los Angeles. So, I mean, what I basically do is I'm a bike shop on wheels. So I go to people's houses and I service their bikes at their house. But what Deb had me come on to talk about bikes is I've gone to Wildflower a few times with my van just to help support different clubs and stuff, and I kind of know what to expect as far as what your bike need should be. Now, I do have one question for people. Does anyone not have a bike yet? Just raise your hand. Or does everyone have a bike? Everyone has a bike? Okay, perfect. And that's good. All right. And like what Deb said, you don't need to go
I
out
do
and buy.
have a bike.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Melissa, I don't have a bike.
Oh, you don't have a bike?
I will.
When are you getting your bike, Melissa?
I have no idea. It depends on
Well,
market.
I would say put some urgency on it because it's one of those things where you want to, even if if your fitness level's there, you want to be comfortable on the bike. If you're going to be riding with a bunch of people, I mean, you can't pace because it's a triathlon, but there's still going to be a lot of people on the course, and you want to make sure you're comfortable on your bike. So I would say you would definitely make that a priority to get a bike. Yeah. But everyone else has bikes, correct? Does anyone have any concerns about the bike they have? Like, do they have like a hybrid and they're doing the long course or something? Or is everyone pretty comfortable with the bike they have? Yeah. All right. Well, here's a couple things about the course. The course is, it's parts of it are pretty rough. So if you're running let's say an older road bike that may have a smaller or thinner tire, you may want to see what the biggest tire you could use on that bike to help with the ride so it's not so rough. And if you're is anyone here doing the off-road course? No? If not, then okay, then we won't have to talk about that part. And then there is some pretty steep climbs in it as well. So you want to make sure that the bike has climbing gears. So sometimes what I'll see is people show up, they'll have an older road bike and they'll have a really small cassette in the back. And if you're not sure what the rear cassette is the gears in the back, and you want to make sure that the rear cassette is pretty big, that has a lot of teeth. If you're not sure if it does, you can always go to the biggest ring and count it. And I would say on this course, you would want at least a 28, unless I mean, I hope I don't get too technical, but unless you have like a triple ring in front, you're going to need gears for climbing. Other than that,
Can you explain for those that may not be familiar, what does it mean a cassette? What does it mean 28 versus 34 versus 32? How do they know which is their front, the back, that kind of stuff?
This is what, when you own a bike shop, this is what your garage looks like. So, we'll look at this. We'll look at my gravel bike here. So this is the gears that we're talking about in the back. So if you look at the bike, this is the back wheel, and then these are the gears in the back. Some of them I don't have anything here that has small gears. Well, I have my son's mountain bike. So see how like this bike has the cassette smaller because it's a kid's mountain bike. But what you're looking for is, let's see if I can get a good picture of it, is you want to make sure this rear cassette has enough gears in it. Because if you don't have enough gears, you're going to have a real hard time climbing the climbs that are on this course. So other than that, if everyone's pretty much got their bikes and they're on road bikes, it's hard to say because there's so many different bikes that people have that I was talking to Deb that it's hard to really generalize what to talk about. So I wanted to leave it open to you guys. Like, what specific questions do you guys have about the bike you have? And any questions good, because a lot of times what I find is when one person has a question about their bike, it's usually multiple, I'll be answering a question that multiple people will have, if that makes sense. So does anyone have any concerns about their bike being race ready? Let's start there. No one has any concerns?
So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I have an old road bike that I've used mostly for commuting and like kind of like the fun ride, but I've never clipped in, and I'm wondering if that's like a thing I have on when I've ridden other people's bikes, but is that the level of like gear that I should be looking at to like switch pedals, get clip-ins, get comfortable, or just like ride flat shoes kind
What
of
distance are you doing?
the Olympic.
That becomes whether or not you have enough time to get used to the clips. Clips will help have you put power down, but for that distance, it's not mandatory. The bigger thing is going to be, like I said, do you happen to know how old the bike is?
No.
No. The only thing that I would worry about is like we talked about before is gear ratios to make sure you have enough gears to do the climbs. Because there's a depth, how much feet of climbing is it? You said 3,200? Oh, no, not on the Olympic. But
That's part of the Olympic, but I believe Heber might know that. I think for the total, it's about 3,700. And I believe for the sprint, and I will double check and I'll get that to all of you. I think it's somewhere around 17 or 1,800.
yeah.
And when we talk about elevation, so just for those of you who are new, when you come out of transition, you are going to go up what's called Lynch Hill. And we kind of touched upon it last week. And in session number 5 with Coach Ian Murray, he will talk about the course in more detail. So that's where John's talking about you need to have enough gears to get up the hill. And I think was it Anya, you were the one that was talking? As a coach speaking, if you're relatively new, um, my advice is get to know your bike really well. Become one with your bike. And like John said, clip-ins are not necessary for this kind of course. Yes, they will help because you do get more power with your foot not sliding off the pedal. However, having said that, make sure you're really comfortable gears. Are you comfortable drinking on the bike? Are you comfortable eating on the bike? Get all of these things down first. And then when you feel that you are really one with your bike, as I say, super comfortable, and you want to try clip-ons, get some clips. You'll have to get shoes, or you take, cycling shoes that you clip in and out of. And I would go to a park next to some grass or somewhere where grass is kind of low. You're going to fall. You're going to clip in, you're going to clip out. You might forget. I mean, those of us that have been riding for a long time, every now and then I'll be like, oh my gosh, I forgot to clip out. And I go down. So it is not necessary. Really become comfortable and understand your bike.
Yeah.
That's what I would suggest.
Yeah. And then the other, well, does anyone else have any concerns or any questions about their bike? Or did you have any other questions, Anya? Or does that answer it for you?
That answers mine, although I know
well, like I have people that
Audrey asked another question in the chat about just like changing gears, and then like you were talking about how the bike starts on this big hill. Like, should we like set up our bike in a specific gear?
I would set it up so you're in your climbing gear when you start, because you're going to come right out of the swim and you're just going to go right into this climb. And when you're riding, it is much easier. Like if you're going into a climb and you're in too easy of a gear, it's easier to go to a harder gear to climb up this than it is if you're pushing a big gear and then you try to get to an easier gear. You're going to grind. You could throw a chain. there's a lot of things there that can happen. So I would start in an easier gear, start the climb, and if it's too easy, then go to our harder gear, as opposed to starting in a hard gear. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah.
I also do want to think to remember, not all of those first climbs are as long as each other. Like the long course first climb is not as long as the Olympic first climb or the on-road sprints first climb. The mountain bike first, or the gravel, off-road gravel, also has the same initial first climb as your long course. And I want to say the change in that is probably 40, 50 feet of elevation change. I think we talked about it last week on the elevation change for the Olympic and the on-road sprint being something like 250, 280. I don't remember the exact number, but I know it was a couple hundred feet change. And that's over like a mile and a quarter versus the like not even 100 yards for 30 feet, maybe 150 yards for 30 feet for the other courses.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have any other? Oh yeah.
You said it's a rough course. So are flats off are common?
Well, when I say rough, like the pavement isn't. There's going to be patches where it could be a little bumpy, and so the two things you want to do is make sure you have good tires on your bike. And then also, depending on your size tire, you also don't want to overinflate your tire as well. Because the road surface is kind of bumpy, you'll be more efficient with a tire that has like not low pressure, but too high will cause the wheel to bounce on the pavement, and it won't give you as much grip for turning, stopping, climbing. And it's going to depend on your wheel. Like that's why it's hard to talk tire pressure, because like on one of my road bikes, I have a 700C by 40. I know this. And then another one, I have a 25, and both of them run different tire pressures because of the size. So what I would suggest, though, is one of the things I want to go through logistically. What other is that? Did that answer your question? I'm sorry, or did it not answer?
Yeah. So if you were running a 700C and 36 mil tire, what sort of pressure would you put on?
I would probably be about a tube or tubeless.
Tubeless.
I would be about 50. Well, how much 50? You weigh? Yeah. I'm a heavy dude, and I run a 700C by 28, and I run 65 pounds on my bike, and I rode the course on that, and it was perfect. If you're tubeless. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions about a concern with their bikes or anything about the bike?
I'd like to just add on to some of the things you and Deb were saying about making sure you got the adequate gears for for this course. I would make sure, since not only do you need the gears to get up, you need brakes coming down, and make sure you've got brakes that you know how to use and operate well. And that's pretty key coming down some of this.
Yeah. And saddle time is going to tell you that. And then that actually goes into my next thing. The other thing about Wildflower is it's a great event, but you are out in the middle of nowhere. So if you need a specific thing that's specific to your bike, for example, I've had guys go out there and they bend or break their derailleur hanger. And I work on a lot of speed concepts. So I happen to have one in my van, but there's probably a million different derailleur hangers, and they're like $20. So if one of the things you want to do is make sure that you have a derailleur hanger with you, because I've seen that stop people from racing because they don't have a $20 part. The other thing is make sure you get your bike tuned up before you go there too, because like I said, a lot of times I go to races and I see people bring their bikes and they're not tuned or they're not ready to go, which is usually not a problem at some races. But this race, there's not going to be a ton of people there to service. I'll be there, but a lot of times I don't know if I can look at everybody's bike, because you want in this particular race, you want to make sure of that. So you want to get a tune up. You want to make sure your tires are in good condition. And if you have a derailleur hanger, spend the $20 to get a new one. There's a website called derailleur.com. That's all they sell. And you can go on there and buy a couple. It's something that I always tell my clients to carry with them on rides too, because they can break on a ride and it's a very simple thing to change. So instead of being stranded, they could get it fixed. Other than that, like as far as the equipment, what Deb said and everyone else said, the biggest thing is saddle time, just to be comfortable in your bike and make sure that it's running good when you get there. Because like I said, there's not going to be too many places to get stuff for your bike if it breaks.
John, we also do have K-Man Cyclery and Sports Basement that are at the event.
Oh, okay.
And
so you
yeah, K-Man is set up to work on bikes there if needed.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
So you can come on down to the expo area too, right near the finish line, and you can see them at their tents by the
Perfect. Okay.
bathroom area, and you'll be able to talk to them.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know last year. When I went last year, there didn't seem to have as much people there to help with that part. But the thing about the derailleur hanger, they may not have your hanger. So that's one thing I would definitely make sure you bring with you. That's the thing I've seen fail at this race. So other than that, if no one has any questions, I mean,
Actually, Audrey has her hand raised.
Oh, do you have? I'm sorry, Aubrey, I missed that.
Could you just go over again on for climbing a hill? So the chain is on the smallest wheel, I guess, sprocket or gear in the front, and then the largest one in the back or the smallest one in the back? Which one? I don't work with the gears. I just ride. I can't even hardly ride, but a bit. I can
you're correct. It's the largest one in the rear, smallest one in the front. And if, like I said, the reason why I say that is if you're not familiar with riding, you're not riding that much, that is where I see people either throw their chain a lot because they're trying to shift while they're climbing, and and you're just putting too much torque on the system, and it could throw the chain. So you're correct on what gear you should start off in. And that would be my suggestion if this is your first race. You're not looking to podium, you're looking to finish the race. And like I said, if you start to climb in an easier gear, it's much easier to go to a harder gear than it is to switch to an easier gear from a hard gear.
Okay, so just start in the easiest climbing gear possible, and then once I'm at the top, I'll work on it then.
Well, what'll happen is you'll start to climb, and if you're like, oh, this is just too easy, then you can switch into a harder gear.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, John, what do you suggest about lights on a bike?
Oh, yeah. I always ride with lights front and back, day or night, flashing in the daytime. I always tell my clients that, they have reflectors and they think that's fine enough, but there's two, reflectors. I always say reflectors tell someone they're about to hit you, and lights will say, oh, there's a cyclist half a mile ahead of you. And in the daytime too, I ride with lights flashing day or night. I mean, the whole idea is to be seen. So you definitely want to get lights on your bike, even if it's during the day. You still want to ride with lights.
And is there anything that anybody should do prior to the race, check their bike, even when they get up there, that they should do to make sure their bikes are ready to go?
I always do a pre-ride. If you have to take your bike apart, or even if you have it on a rack, you put it together before you rack the bike for the race. Always go for a test ride. Most people will test ride the course, but you just want to make sure everything is working before you rack the bike. So test ride it for sure. Make sure your tire pressures are where you want them to be. And if anyone has questions about tire pressure, best way to do in your training is just to kind of experiment it with while you're training, and then you'll get a feel for what'll work for you. Tire pressures kind of has to do with tire size, weight of the bike and the rider, and also the type of tire you're running. Like I said, that's why it's hard to go through that. There's so many variances now with tire pressure, but it isn't an important factor.
Okay.
John, what's a bar end plug and why do I need it?
What's the what?
A bar end plug and why do I need it?
Yes.
The bar
And
end
should I
plug.
bring extra?
Yeah, well, no, the bar and plug just goes at the end of the bars, and the reason why you need it is because they're afraid that if you're riding and that thing comes unraveled, it could be a hazard because it could get caught in your wheel, it could get caught. There's just a bunch of them. I mean, the chance of it happening are slim, but that's just one of the requirements. If you get there and they're going to be. I have a whole box of them in my van. I always carry just in case. And then if there's other people there too, everyone's gonna have bar ends to make sure if you lose one,
The key is just to make sure you do have one because it can be a disqualification from their event.
Correct.
I was just gonna say that. Thank you, Heber. So just double check your bike, make sure. If you're not sure what the rules are, you can always go on to the USA Triathlon site and there will be the rules. It's all about safety. Everything is about safety. And we will have support out on the course. So if there's anything that you need, you just flag someone down and they will be there for you. You'll see them out there throughout the race.
Yeah, and the only other thing I'd say is when you get out there, enjoy it. I pre-ran the course for a couple of years, and it's beautiful. It's such a great ride, and it's just yeah, enjoy it. It's a really good event.
So I want to say thank you to John Harakuni. I'm going to put his information in the chat. And so you can always reach out to him. John will be up there over the weekend, as well as we've got a couple bike shops. And you can always reach out to me if you have any questions on shifting or anything like that. So,
Yeah,
John,
and there's
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Someone else have a question?
Go ahead.
Oh, and I was gonna say is like, yeah, and if my information will be there. If you have any specific questions about your bike, you can contact me, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. It's just like I said, it sounds like people are gonna be everything from vintage road bikes, hybrids, whatever, and each one will kind of have a little different thing going on. But the things that I did say about making sure the bike is prepared and everything is something I can't stress that at that event. That's really it.
And there's a quick question in here, which is a little bit, well, it's not so much, thank you, Mike. You are answering that. More about the rules and etiquette like that. So most triathlons, we are not allowed to draft. There are some draft legal races, but the rules are when you start making that pass, you always pass on the left, never ever on the right. You will get disqualified. Plus, it's not safe. But once you decide to make that pass, let the person know in front of you that you're going to pass and you have between 15 and 20 seconds. And I'm going to let Mike take it over. But anyway, we do not draft. There are a few races, but in general, drafting is illegal. And etiquette, be nice, call it out. If you're passing somebody, say on your left. And once you pass them, make sure you're not cutting them off. And just be nice. No throwing trash. If you're having a gel or you're having a bar, or you're having something on the bike, it goes back into your jersey. You will get DQ'd and penalized for any litter. So that's a big thing. And Mike, go ahead. Mike's going to take it away now. It's his turn.
I can answer any of this stuff. Yes, on this drafting thing, real quick. When you come up into the draft zone, just know you got probably about 4 bike lengths between you and the back of the tire, and you better feel strong because, as Deb said, you have about 15 seconds to make that pass and get in front of somebody. And then there's called like slotting in or blocking. So, like, if you're being passed, you have to drop back and you have to let that rider pass you. You cannot sit and block them and do that. So that's the etiquette of it. So drop back, let them make your pass. And then if you want to retake them again, get ready to go again, and just know that roughly 4 bike lengths is your distance in the draft zone, and you got about 15 seconds to make that pass. So just be ready to roll there.
And depending on the race, and again, look at the race rules because every race might have a different rule, but it's anywhere from like what Mike said, 4 to 6 bike lengths. So you need to know that so that you don't get a penalty. And do not, if somebody is going to pass you, I've had this happen. I'm sure Mike's had it. Some of us have had it. You let somebody know you're coming on your left and they're going to pass and they speed up. That is against etiquette. Like Mike said, you back down. You come back down, let that person pass you. And if you want to pass them, get your speed up, but do not tail them because you will get penalized.
Possible to send there. I see this question here about the ride route. You won't get lost out there. I didn't get lost. It was my first time at Wildflower last year. It was fun as can be. You are gonna love it. I mean, it's so amazing at Wildflower last year. My posh butt decided to rent a house over in this nice gated community. This year I'm staying in an RV in the campground because it's amazing. So all I
More
can say is get excited for one of the most special event weekends you will do anywhere. It's truly like this super fun community. Everybody's together, supportive. We're having fun. You got this crazy TriDot unicorn running around, and you're out hunting for ducks and trying to win prizes, and you got all these races going on, and all kinds of good. And then you got me hanging out in the Rudy Project booth. It's just, whatever. We're gonna have lots of fun. So get excited. Don't be scared. Yes, there's hills on the course, but that's what makes it beautiful. It's just good.
welcome to triathlon.
Yeah, welcome. Triathlon's amazing. I've been doing it forever.
And
So,
I will be there all weekend. I usually get up either Thursday night or very early Friday morning. So I will be available to answer questions. I will be in a trailer as well, probably down towards the lake, but you will find me. I will be there. We're in this together. Mike, take it away.
all right. So, obviously, I'm here, sports marketing manager of Rudy Project. So, we're an Italian company that makes helmets and eyewear. So, we can just talk about helmets, eyewear, whatever. Like I said, I'm there on site. I got called into this call on about 2 hours notice, so I'm not home and prepared. I'm at an Airbnb in Scottsdale, Arizona, where I'm escaping winter, spending time with my daughter, and riding out in 82 degrees today. It was awesome.
And where are you from, Mike?
Minnesota, where it's like wicked cold and misery. So that's why I've been here for the last 6 weeks. So I only have one helmet with me, but it's a good helmet to know about and have. This helmet is like an Aero road style helmet. So when we're talking helmets, there's so much stuff out there on the market, so it can, get confused. The key is you make sure you have a helmet because it's the rules, you got to be safe. All helmets will have like these little stickers inside that CSPC, so certified, which means it's safety. Now, we can use a CE certified helmet racing in the US now, which is the European certification. For whatever reason, we could go on and on about this country. We decide to do everything and make it difficult instead of follow what the rest of the world does. But that's how it is in helmet safety and helmet stickering too. But anyways, so that's what those stickers are inside. Now, today I sent out to my Rudy Project people a thing kind of reminding them about helmets, right? And if you go on to the Safety Commission website and you read about helmet safety and all this, they say you should change your helmet about every 3 to 5 years. That's a rule of thumb somewhere in there. So if your helmet's super old, like you got something off of Facebook Marketplace, some old Schwinn helmet out of Target, it's probably not very safe. It's better than no helmet, but it's probably not very safe. Heat, sweat, all the UV, everything will eventually wear down the materials of your helmet from the styrene inside to the outer shell, all of that. So that's why they say roughly 3 to 5 years in there, you want to be replacing your helmet. So just think about that as you're looking at your current gear and deciding, do I need some new gear to stay safe? Like I said, this is an aero road helmet. This is a great all-arounder because you can race in this helmet and be fast. It's designed in the wind tunnel with Swiss side, but it also isn't like we make the fastest aero helmet on the market called the Wing Dream, which is this big, crazy looking thing that you would only wear to race, but you wouldn't wear to train. So if you're a budget person and you can only have one helmet, something like this is a really good thing to go with. Has great airflow and this and that. Now I'm going to take my Wildflower hat off so I can put it on because when you go, I had to rep my Wildflower hat.
And
So
also,
get your
like
helmet.
Mike said, mine are old, but you can see the different styles. So you've got a lot of different styles, different price points. Find a helmet that's comfortable on your head. And then
And
I'm gonna let Mike.
gonna be these retention straps in the back. So there's a dial usually that you can loosen and tighten to put it on. Also, like in this helmet or our other helmets, you can slide the retention strap in and out if you can see that, so that you can get it to fit on your head where you want it to do. So pay attention to that. And then, you get your helmet, you buckle it up, practice your buckles. That's gonna be a fast transition tip. And then you want to like play with the chin strap to get it tight here, but not choking you. You don't need it so wicked tight. I mean, you're going to be fine. Some people get all crazy about that stuff, but you don't. I keep mine probably, right about there. I can stick a finger in there. It's totally fine because I don't want it to choke me. And then when I bend, it gives me a little play. So that's, getting on your helmet. Another cool thing about this helmet, and especially with our glasses, is it pairs so well. You can slide your sunnies right into the top of your helmet. So when you grab it off your bars, you just pull out your glasses and you pop them on and you're ready to rock and roll. So, there you go. And if you got questions on helmets, I need a new helmet and glasses, Mike. Barb, yes, you do if you're not wearing Rudy Project. So you can get you taken care of, which is one thing you all get as part of Racing Wildflower. You all get discounts on our products. So, but yeah, practice this like in transition. With this style of helmet, I typically hang it by this strap like that over my bars so that when I come running up to my bike, my helmet's hanging right there on the bars. And remember, before you touch your bike, before you do anything, the very first thing you do after you get that wetsuit off and you're getting ready in transition is put your helmet on and buckle it. Make sure you buckle your helmet. I don't know how many people I see run on a transition like this, helmets, straps dangling. You're like, oh, dear Lord, like, oh, come on. So before you do anything in transition, before you put your shoes on, before you do anything, the minute the wetsuit's off, you see your helmet dangling on your bike, before you touch your bike, before you move your bike, get your helmet on, buckle the helmet. Then do the rest of the stuff you need to do in transition by getting your shoes on, whatever else. Remember, on the bike, you do not need to wear your race belt. That is only for the run. So I can dive into any of the rules if you got questions, any of that kind of stuff. But you'll have, when you set up transition, your bike's going to be hanging by the saddle on the bars out there. You're going to dangle your helmet from it. You're going to have a little space. Don't bring balloons in there. Don't bring big old towels. Don't bring buckets to wash your feet, all this crap. Condense yourself, and the only thing you bring into transition is what you're going to use on race day. You get everything else out of there. That's a big etiquette thing to those of us that have raced a long time, is how you do transition, how you set up transition around you, and how you respect your small bit of space and respect those around you. So think about that. So buckle the helmet, get it on, and like I said, a lot of our helmets, the glasses will fit perfectly in there. So when it's dangling on the handlebars and I pull it, I can just slap it on and my sunnies are already there. So I just grab it, I put it on, grab it, I buckle it, my sunnies are right there. I grab them, slap them on, and away I go. And I start running my bike to the mount line. Now remember, do not mount your bike inside transition anyplace. There will be what's called a mount line when you're leaving and a dismount line when you're coming in. So make sure on race morning, I know I'm dovetailing from helmets and eyewear here, but we're a bunch of first timers, right? Or no? If not, they
The
just
mix.
what? Yes. Okay.
We're a mix. We're
Just
a mix.
know, like, once you get your gear on, you run your bike till you see that mount line. There's usually going to be an official, a volunteer, somebody there that's going to let you know you can mount your bike at this time. And then it's safe to get on your bike and start riding up that beautiful hill. It's awesome. Climbing's the best. Coming down's the worst. Going up's awesome. So embrace it. and then you go off and you ride and you have a good time. So again, get a good helmet. Think about how old your helmet is. Think about the safety of it. There's lots of styles of helmets, so depending on what level you are in your career or journey, I should say, not career. You got big aero helmets, you got road helmets, you got whatever. I'd say get what's comfortable, what fits in the budget. Why coming down is the worst? Because I like to climb. I'm a climber. Coming down, it's wicked. It's fast. It's stuff a Midwest kid doesn't get to do enough of. But in Arizona, I got climbing, so now I'm getting really ballsy at it.
And I'm the opposite. I suck at climbing and I love going down and I just fly down. For those that are in LA, we have one of our canyons called Canaan Canyon, and I have hit as fast as 41 miles an hour. That's a little gnarly, but I love flying down. So everybody is different.
True.
Uh, and
But
Mike,
now in
how
eyewear, because early morning, let's see oh, sorry, what's that question? If you do have a helmet that maybe you used back in high school, yeah, if you use that, well, it depends. Are you 16, 17 years old, or are we talking you're 51 like me? Might need a new helmet. I'd say you need a new helmet.
And Mike,
Yeah.
how can you tell when it's time for a new helmet? Like, I don't use this anymore because the sun has gotten to it. But what are things to look for as far as the foam goes, the straps go, anything like that?
Yeah, if you see any deterioration to your helmet, I mean, obviously that's sign one if you can visually see, but there's lots of helmets. I even have some of them that I just know that are 10 years old, but I don't wear them every day because I rotate through lots of helmets. And so they still look really good, but I know that that helmet, just because of when that model was made or whatever, and it's not being made anymore. And when I got it, I roughly know it's, 10 years old or something. I don't really I don't pull that helmet out anymore. It's too old. I don't trust it. But I mean, I've been on rides and you see these people where like the enamel is peeling off of here and they're still out there riding and you're looking at them like, I can see the foam through there now. Like that's not so good. Like it's time for a new lid. So yeah, and a lot of the helmets like this, I mean, you can get replacement pads for the inside. So if you're like a big sweater and all that, you can replace these pads inside to give a better fit. Um, and that's kind of a moment when you know your helmet's starting to get there, is if you're feeling like, hey, this thing's not as cushy anymore, like the foam's really hitting against me because the padding inside the helmet's not really giving me that much cushion. Replace the foam. Maybe you can milk a little bit more out of it, depending on the age of the helmet, and then go from there. But just know, like, it's like anything, like the UV just beats on it. So if it's a helmet you ride every day, um, it's gonna wear out on that faster side than a helmet you maybe only race in and bust out 5 times a year. Like my aero helmet I race in, because I'm only pulling out when I race. Now I race a lot. I mean, I can probably push that to that 5, 6 year window. But something like this that I ride in almost daily, I'll probably only get up to that 3 years and it's time to go kind of
Mike,
scenario.
let's say you fall off your bike, but it's not a bad accident, right? You just happen to fall and you just slightly bump your head or something. Do you need to replace it? How do you know if you hit the ground? Should you,
Yeah,
regardless of
you should
how hard you
always
hit?
you should always replace it. If you have any contact, if you ever go down, just right there, then and there, replace it. Even if you don't see major damage to the helmet, if the helmet takes any kind of bonk to the ground, replace that helmet. That's best practice, I would say. We do have a crash replacement at Rudy Project, so if you do get in a proper crash, you can send in. We have a 3 year crash replacement. Glass. Colleen's
Hopefully,
glasses time.
that
Yeah, we've
one,
been talking all night.
I know.
Um,
Glasses.
so there's lots of stuff in glasses, but one thing that I'm gonna talk about with Rudy Project that is proprietary to us is our Impact X photochromic lenses that are unbreakable, and they can be photochromic lenses. If you don't know, can be very key at this event because we start so early in the morning. There could be maybe some fog coming off the lake, whatever the case could be out there. It might not be super bright high sun. Now it's going to get there, but maybe at the time you start riding, it's not there. And these lenses are light intensity adjusting. So you can wear them in the pitch dark, as you saw, as wearing that pair. Now, this is a pair called the Astral Sphere. They're frameless. I popped the nose piece out because you can intertrain nose pieces. But what I want to show you about these lenses is they are unbreakable. I can sit and twist and bend and do whatever I want with that lens and it will not break. So if a rock flies up and hits you, if you crash, you go down, these lenses will 100% protect you. If you play pickleball, which apparently is popular these days, and the pickleball hits you in the eye, they're going to protect you. So, and they'll go from light to dark. So like I ride at pitch dark in the night with a light on and I can see and it protects me from rocks, from dust, from all the things, right? And then as the sun gets high, they darken and protect me there. All of our lenses have UV protection in them, so they're going to protect your eyes from the UV. So that's one thing to think about when it comes to glasses is there's I call this disposable eyewear that you can find in a shop somewhere that costs you 20, 25 bucks and it's going to scratch and be very poor optics. And the minute you grab a pair of glasses with really good optics, you're going to understand the difference. You're going to understand why you pay a little bit more for a quality pair of glasses that are going to last you for 10, 15 years. Lots of our glasses, like this pair, the Kilian, you can get replacement lenses. So you can swap lenses in and out. So this has a pair of photochromic lenses in them, those Impact X. But if I wanted to, I could pull them out, put a different lens in there, like a multi-laser or a polarized or something different based on the conditions and where I'm going. Or over time, if I have this frame for many years and all of a sudden the lens is just feeling a little worn out, I can just get a new lens and pop it in there, refresh them, get a new nose pad. A lot of our glasses will have the nose pads here you can adjust. So you can bend them and get it to get the proper fit where you want it on your face. And that's key. Those are questions that get asked a lot about eyewear based on someone's face, right? And like what eyewear is going to be good for that. And, not all of our glasses, but most of our glasses have these adjustable nose pads. Even something, this is brand new style called the Spin Shield Pro, which is super lightweight, which we took one of our most popular models and we added some extra venting to it. We added the adjustable nose piece so that, people with small faces like mine, I guess, I don't know, can dial in the fit and get it to fit really well. Extremely lightweight. Another thing about Rudy Project that I love is all of our frames are made using recyclable materials. So we have this initiative called Ride to Zero, and all of our frames are made out of recyclable material. And then our optics are extremely, and everything's made right in Italy in the Dolomites. Everything's designed and made right in Italy. We're based in Treviso, so that's where all this stuff's coming out of. And if you watched the Olympics recently, this is one of my favorite styles. We sponsor the greatest Nordic skier of all time, Klæbo. And this is his custom pair of turbulence eyewear. So this is what he wore all through the Olympics when you watch him ski. So you can go online and order a pair of turbulence. That's what this particular pair is called that Klæbo wears. You can't get this color. It's a limited edition. It was specially made for him. And I just happened to get a pair because I love pink. But the Turbulence is really a great pair of eyewear because it's got top frame, frameless on the bottom. Again, you can swap lenses in and out. So it's really kind of about people's styles and what they're looking for. We do prescription. So you can make any of these models in prescription. How the prescription gets done is based on your prescription, the base curve of the lens that you want to use. Something like the Kilian this will use like a little insert. So that gets, it's a clip-in insert goes behind the nose piece. That's how the prescription gets done. But something like Turbulence, it's using this new technology we have called RX Shield, where the prescription gets embedded on the back side of the lens. So you don't even know. Like I could be wearing prescription right now, you wouldn't even know it because it's, tucked in, embedded in the lens right there. Let's see, what else do we got on sunglasses? It's just, I'm always here to answer your questions. I want you, and like I said, I'll be on site race weekend. I'll have a ton of stuff for sale, but you don't want to buy it. Eyewear you can buy the day before the race and you'll be fine because the sunglasses, the helmet, nutrition, things like that, you don't want to, but sunglasses are fine. Oh, Deb, don't shake your head. You could buy a pair of sunglasses and wear them the next day and be
Oh, sunglasses, I don't care.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sunglasses, sunnies, you could. The rest of the stuff, no. Practice with the rest of your stuff,
It's the rule, which we all will go race.
I make all kinds of mistakes when I race because I'm dumb. Like taking ketones in the middle of T2 on an Ironman, thinking I need it for the run, and then getting sick as a dog 4 miles in and puking my guts out, and things I never practiced with.
I
right?
remember that one. Anyway,
I just did
nothing
it in
new
Arizona.
race week,
But
guys.
regardless, like I always say, like do as I say, don't do as I do. Because sometimes I do some dumb stuff, but I like to have fun out there. Um,
And nothing new race week. If you haven't run in it, ridden in it, swam in it, gotten used to it at least 3 weeks before the race, nope. I have seen people, even when I used to do marathons, who changed their nutrition the day before or the day of and end up like Mike did, puking up their guts. So,
Nutrition you never mess with. Nutrition you
never.
never mess with.
But
Mess with.
we have a whole section on that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. You dive into that, but yeah, you don't dare. Is there any questions about helmets or eyewear or anything related to
any
that
other
world
questions?
rules? Racing Wildflower, how freaking awesome this event is, how amazing Colleen and her family are. Like I'm telling you, it is like yeah, it's an awesome event, and everybody there is amazing. And I can just say that because none of you have ever been there, you will have fun and you will embrace this thing. The lake, the swim's beautiful. I mean, I know we're not talking about swim, but like, it's just gorgeous. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I only did the sprint last year, and don't say like only the sprint, any races there, but I mean, it was definitely probably one of my hardest sprint distance courses I've ever raced in 20 some years of racing, but it was awesome. What are your transition must haves? Okay. So transition, and we're going to close it out talking about transition. Um, you want to get there early in race morning, get down there. You want to walk around and learn your way, learn where you're coming in from the swim to your bike, learn where you're going from your bike out onto your bike, learn when you come back in on your bike, how to get back to your transition spot, and then learn how to get out to the run out. Like just walk the entire what you're going to do in the course of the day, right? Like it'll calm your nerves. It's good for you to get loose and walk around and just learn your way around. Then you're gonna get in there, right? And you got to think about like, okay, when you go to the swim, you're gonna take all your swim gear with you, so you're covered there. So the next thing you're gonna do is come in there to go biking. That means check your PSI on your bike tires on race morning because, just always a good habit, especially if you racked it the day before or wherever. If it's sitting outside, you can lose some PSI overnight. So race morning, I find a pump, check your tire pressure, make sure you got it dialed in where you're at. Then you get your bike racked, get your helmet hanging from the handlebars so you know right where it is, or put it on the ground, wherever you want it, wherever it's safe. I clip in my shoes. So some
too
people
advanced.
too advanced. Don't worry about that. So
I mean,
basically, what I
yeah.
have in transition is only what I'm going to use on race day: a bike helmet, a pair of sunglasses, a pair of bike shoes, my run shoes, my race belt, which you wear on the run. And yeah, that's basically it. And then my nutrition and my bottles are on my bike, so I'm good to go there. Especially long course athletes will probably have some extra nutrition on the ground next to your run shoes. If I'm doing an Olympic distance or longer, I will take time to put socks on. If I'm doing just a sprint, I probably won't take time to put socks on. I'll just fly out of there. Um,
I
so
actually wear socks for Sprint or Olympic, but we're going to go over transition. We're going to go race week. We're going to go setup. We do have a guest, Dorette Franks, who is a registered dietitian, and she will be speaking to us about race day, race week. Um, I'll talk about, our last meeting race week, when you should start fueling. People think that, oh, let's do carbo load the night before. Too late. But we're going to go over all of that as well as the program goes on. So I really appreciate Mike giving the overview, but we'll give you more detail as well. But he's got it down. I mean, it's always, where in the country is Mike?
I'm a high energy talker, so sorry if I start to
No,
ramble.
no, you're good. You're good. Does
I,
anybody
I,
have any questions about Yelda? We have a section coming on, I think it is number 6, that we will discuss running, and we have a specific guest who is all about running, and you can definitely ask him about that. But if you're doing the regular race, running shoes, you don't need, you don't need trail shoes because you'll be on the road. Um, but we'll definitely don't hold on to that question. But anybody have any question for Mike? I mean, both John and Mike, John put his phone number in there. I put Mike's information, and I will send it out as well in the follow-up email that I always have. So you'll get everybody's information. Any more questions? Anything that we didn't talk about today that has to do with bikes, helmets, glasses? We will be discussing, we will have our guests talk about wetsuits. I believe we'll probably do that when we have our swim discussion, which will be the next one. And Trey just put something in there about running. So, any more questions with Mike? Okay. Well, I want to say thank you to Mike, and especially for jumping in so quickly. And thank you to John Harakuni, and thank you to Vanessa for opening it up. If you have any questions, you guys know you can always find me, Coach Deb at Elevate Multisport. Some of you have written to me. And if you have some for next week, if you think of some, hold them for next week's session. And then we will see you all next week. I hope you guys have a great week. Have great training. Remember consistency. If you have a really busy day and you can only get 20 minutes in, better to get 20 minutes in than nothing at all. Also, huge, listen to your body. Please, please, please. If your body is saying, I'm really tired, I need a little more sleep, listen to it. Don't try and push too much when your body is saying, you know what, my leg is hurting. That's when people get hurt. Our whole goal is to get you across that finish line with a smile and remind you, do not look down at your watch because you want to be like, whoa, and no injuries. That's our goal.
Yeah,
Anything
real
else?
quick, we do have two people asking two other
Oh,
questions. One was from Audrey. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. About why not just regular sunglasses. And I think he was kind of going over that in the Rudy, like the tri glasses that he has are scratch resistant, adjust to the light. Very much more of a protection feature for your eyes as well while you're biking. The normal sunglasses you get from the gas station or wherever, not going to be shatterproofs and not going to be protecting. Now,
Yeah,
shatterproof is different levels. I'm not saying they're bulletproof.
yeah. So sorry, we do make multiple or various lenses. Like this pair of lenses is a multi-laser lens. Now, this pair of lenses in this pair of glasses will not be light intensity adjusting photochromic, and I would not take this pair and twist it around like a rubber band because they could break. But they are UV protected. They're made of the highest quality optical material, so they'll give and all lenses will give you a different look in the world, even photochromic. So in not to confuse you all, but in photochromic, you'll see stuff like this is a photochromic laser black. That's a photochromic purple. So there's going to be like different tints, which means your LTV range, the way light transmission will be different and let the light in. Now, trail runners, and if you're in the woods and you're looking for rocks and different stuff, will like stuff with photochromic purple or photochromic red because it enhances things differently than a photochromic black will. Photochromic black is going to give you your basically clear to very dark range. So there's lots of variable now, whether you're using our multi-laser lens or you're using like a photochromic lens or something like that, they're all very durable, very scratch resistant. Sure, can they get? Yes, if you just throw them around in the sand for a while. But if you normally, my first thing I always do after a session, a workout and sweat is come in and I run them underwater and rinse stuff off and then take the microfiber cloth that they're like in and dry them off. So I hope that helps answer your lens question.
and yeah, yes, glasses can get scratched depending on how you lay them down. That's why, like Mike said, I do it very careful with how I lay down, and they can get foggy. When they do, I use something called Foggies. They clear it up really easy, but also, do
You
we
can
only
use
need
one pair for
us?
your run and bike. So
Yeah,
just one
absolutely.
pair. And to go on to the fogging thing, that is going to be based on the style, how you position your glasses, right? That's where these getting glasses like this with an adjustable nose pad will help because of how you position it off and you get to airflow in. And then glasses like this, like a Kilian, we have like power flow vent system in there and different vents put in there to help. Like when we came out with this pair of glasses, my first ride was something like 3 hours in 90 degrees and 95% humidity, and I didn't fog at all. Now, just know, like, I mean, obviously, yeah, if you're just standing still and having the heat and sweat, they can, but the minute you get some airflow going in there, they will clear right up as long as you keep your fit right with the nose pad and everything else. Does that help answer those questions about fogging, lenses? I don't want to keep everybody all night. It's getting late. It's 8:42
Yeah,
here. Past my bedtime.
we we are usually done by
I get up
7:45.
early. I got a long run before work.
So
Because
if
training's the best
nobody,
part. So when they say, "Hey, TriDot's gonna take," I love TriDot, and you're gonna take you away so you can train less and do more things. Isn't life just about freaking swim, bike, and run and training? Isn't that all we want to do? At work and everything else is secondary. At least that's how I feel. Like, I mean, I'll see my wife when I see her, but bike ride comes first.
this is your job. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you to everybody, to Mike, to John, to Vanessa, to Trey for helping, to Bill for helping answer some questions. Again, anybody needs any questions asked, you can reach out to anybody at TriDot. You can reach out to me, Colleen, Mike. We put their info on there. And in my follow-up note, I will, once we get the video ready to go, when I send that out to you guys, I will include all the phone numbers and the emails so you know where to go. And I'm going to say good night for now. We will see you next week.
And
Everybody
for
have
those
a
of you that are
great
going to be
week.
watching this later on the recording, do make sure to try and join every once in a while to get your questions answered. That'll definitely help encourage everybody else to get their questions they may not be able to join and ask to get those answered as well.
And
Thank you,
tell all
everybody.
your friends to register for Wildflower. It's the greatest weekend.
It's
It's
such
so
a
much
fun
fun.
weekend. Oh my
Get
God,
them there. Seriously.
it's such a fun weekend. All right, everybody, have a great week of training, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.